Welcome back to another Research Connection. I'm here with Dr. Kelly Meiklejohn. She is an associate professor in forensics in our Department of Population Health and Pathobiology, and she's going to talk to us about some recent collaborations and projects coming out of her lab. So your research is centered in forensics. What makes the College of Veterinary Medicine a good place for resources and atmosphere for your work in your lab?
Yeah, so I'm the only forensic scientist here at the College of Veterinary Medicine, so it sometimes comes with its challenges, but I really think it's a great way for me to look at new or alternate avenues of research that I probably wouldn't get exposed to if I was in a forensics department. So we have so many people in our faculty that are immunologists, virologists, ruminant medicine, bioinformaticians, so I've been able to collaborate with a lot of those folks that I wouldn't have had access to if I hadn't been in such an interdisciplinary department. And we have so many good resources here at the research college, for research at the college, in terms of equipment and support in terms of staff and grant writing and those types of things. So that's been really helpful as well.
So part of your focus is in new technologies to aid in investigations and specific scenarios. Where do investigators and forensic scientists work together to identify those scenarios? For instance, your latest work on dust and DNA in dust, being able to aid investigators. Where do you find those links to study?
Yeah, so I think for me it's been really helpful that I did part of my previous training in a forensics lab, and so I have a lot of contacts that I'm able actually to say, hey, is this something that you could use in practice? Because I think that's a big hurdle that we see in forensic science, that we can do all this research, but is it something that can actually be implemented within their current workflows and the current restrictions of a forensic casework lab? So that's kind of where I've worked to decide and look at those new avenues, talking with these casework examiners, like where do they see a need? And so for the dust paper, for instance, I was at a conference and I was thinking about what are some areas of untapped evidence. We see a lot of violent crimes here in the United States that are occurred indoors that don't get solved. And so are we overlooking some type of evidence that could be really helpful? And so that's when I looked into dust. And there had been some work done by some folks in Florida, but they hadn't really looked at dust for investigative leads type purposes, and so that's how that whole study came to be.
Our college has a really strong emphasis on collaborative research, and you recently worked with Dr. Ben Callahan and Dr. Matthew Breen and the College of Humanities and Social Sciences on a work with parchment. Can you talk a little bit about that collaboration, because it's not a college that we typically see as much work with?
Yeah, so this sort of collaboration stemmed in 2019. Dr. Tim Stinson, who is our colleague at CHAS, he had reached out to some folks here at the vet school looking to see whether any folks interested in analysing parchment, because it's made from animal skins, and we have a large resource of not only geneticists, bioinformaticians, and the reason I got involved is because these parchment skins, we're talking hundreds to potentially thousands of years old, and so the DNA that's inside the parchment skins is highly degraded, which is similar to what we would see in a forensics case. So if someone bleaches something, the DNA can be pretty much destroyed. And so could we apply the techniques that we use in a forensic scenario to try and analyse some of this parchment? And so we had gotten an internal grant from the Office of Research here at North Carolina State University to do some essentially pilot work that we were doing on a range of parchments. We're finishing that up here in the next month or so, and our hope is to bring potentially a graduate student on to continue these research endeavours. It really touches on the three academies here, which really brings in that interdisciplinary nature that the college has, the data science, the global health, and also the genetics and genomics. So we're hoping to really continue this work with our collaborators, not only here at North Carolina State, but also internationally as well.